Hello and welcome to my tutorial on Train Sim World with the West Somerset Railway route. This tutorial will take you from Bishop's Lydeard with the lovely climb up to Crowcombe, Heathfield, showing you a few different, showing you the driving styles, any various other things, including any bugs as well. I'm going to be in service mode. I'm going to choose a particular service because I've already found a bug with this, with the 1415 service from Bishop's Lydeard to Minehead. So watch what happens now. So as you can see, you load straight up into the number 1 end cab, which you would normally be in if you were coupling up to the train had you been in service mode earlier on. Obviously, it's not very good considering you're supposed to leave now. Time's ticking, we need to get into the front cab. So hurry up, get out and get up there. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, this is the West Somerset Railway add-on for the PS4, which is what this is on. It's also available on the Xbox One, an Xbox S and whatever Xbox you can get, not being an Xbox person. I have all the safety systems on when I drive. I turn on my DSD, which you can find all these on the back wall, as you can see there. DSD, turn that on, or unisolated, and then obviously then my AWS, automatic warning system, on unisolated like that. And just like you would do on a real locomotive class 47, you switch your changeover lever to on so that it knows to put the AWS on in this area. You then sit down and you cancel the AWS. You can either press circle or you can press the AWS button on the desk. Okay, so let's get my headlights switched on, and then I like putting on my desk lights and the head code box as well, just for a bit of illumination. Get my master key turned on, get me reverser set into forward. I'm going to try and do everything on the desk using the sticks instead of using all the triggers so you can visually see what I'm doing. But I will sometimes have to use the triggers and buttons. I do apologise. As you can see in the top right corner, it's trying to tell me that I've got a red signal in 28 yards. Yeah, I'm led to go. If you look, that is definitely off. So I'm going to just take the physical signal. All right, let's pull it off completely, get all my brake off. We're using the driver's brake, the train brake. As you can see, the other, my air's just dropping down, the vacuum's just dropping down. Sorry, I keep saying air, it's actually vacuum. There is a straight air brake there, the other lever. That's the straight air brake, which is better for the locomotive on its own, or if you do have air stop. But the train brake's the better one to use because it doesn't matter what the air, whether it's air or vacuum, train brake runs it through. And then I open up, it's 10 mile an hour coming out of Bishop's Lydeard, but I'll just open it up completely and then I'll shut it off when I get to close speed. You are climbing a bit of a hill, and it does get a bit steep as we go up towards Crowcombe. So yeah, just fettle that a bit, just slow me down. I think I'll drop it up to, or put it up, sorry, to digital notch 2. I call the notches, instead of number 2, I'll call them digital notches, because actually you've got a bit more control using the cursor, so to speak. You can kind of put it at a better percentage, whereas the digital notch just kind of puts it in increments instead. So yeah, just rolling over the points now just to get onto the single line. As you can see, I'm approaching the 25 mile an hour PSR. Just for anyone who doesn't know, the maximum speed limit, safety speed limit on preserved railways in the UK is only 25 mile an hour. Although the locomotives, the rolling stock, and even probably the track is designed to go more, unfortunately that is a safety thing that to be done in. The bit that you just heard earlier, that was my DSD, or the driver safety device. You can cancel that using circle like you would with the AWS, or the pedal that I just showed you there on the floor. As we're just approaching now, let's try and get a bit, I'm slowing down, so let's put a bit of speed up there, and eventually we should get the nod to go 25 mile an hour. So it tells you on the speedometer you can get 25, so I'm going to open it up completely. Off we go. Yeah, so just let that open up now up to the permissible speed of 25 mile an hour. And while we're waiting for it to speed up, I can just go into the locomotive that we're driving. It's a diesel electric, class 47, type 4. They have a Sulzer engine in, with brush traction motors, built by Brush. Been around since the mid 60s, so they're a bit old now, but still going strong, still available on the main line, and you can steal them around. The route, the West Somerset Railway route, runs from Minehead, the seaside town of Minehead, down to Bishop's Lydeard. It's not a long, I think about a 15-mile route, correct me if I'm wrong, but it takes about an hour overall to get from one end to the other, stopping at all the stations, obviously with the speed being only maximum 25. There's lots of varying speeds as you go along. I'm just going to drop the throttle down a little bit there. I've got to 25 now, so I'll drop it down to, what, 70%, which is digital, not 7 according to the GUI HUD. Just try and keep them amps down between, what, 2003, 2004 as we climb this hill. The gradient is going to get steeper. It's still 1%. It will get steeper as we go along. Crowcombe, sorry, is only about 3 miles away from here now. It's just over 3.5 miles away from Bishop Lydeard itself. Yeah, so the route, as I say, it takes about an hour to complete, stopping all stations. I enjoy this route. It's really nice. You really have to concentrate on what you're doing because of the variable speeds. At one point, you're actually slowing down to 5 miles an hour. So, you know, I'm pretty. I pretty much enjoy that. You know, you really have to adapt to driving. So like I'm doing now when I'm climbing this hill, you've got to really play with the throttle to kind of get the best speed you want. This is autumn. It's clear, so it's relatively dry. There's no rain, and this is kind of the driving style that you can do. I've played in the wet a few times. You kind of have to adjust your driving style slightly, but it's not massive. I've not tried it in torrential rain, so I won't really be able to tell you. But I'll just keep fettling the throttle just to keep them amps between 2003, 2004, 2005. But as the gradient gets on a bit, I might have to start putting it up a little bit more just to keep it going. Lovely sound of the Sulzer engine just bobbling away there. I know earlier on, when you got it full pelt, it whistles nicely, but even when it's just on a bit of a settled notch, it tends to fettle away nicely. Quite a powerful engine. The other thing you got to be aware of, because you're only going 25 for the majority of the time, it is quite slow. So if you're used to, I'm going a bit too quick. Let's drop that down to 60. See if that'll drop the speed a little bit. Because I've gone to 28, so I'm going a little bit too quick, even though I'm climbing. But that's because it's a powerful locomotive, so you've got to do a bit of work to kind of keep your power down. So yeah, going back to like this sort of route, it's a bit more original compared to the other routes, which are a lot faster. There's a lot more high speed. You tend to like your speed warnings and your signal warnings come, and you seem to have to take action a lot earlier, a lot sooner. Let's put the throttle up a little bit more. As you can see, you can kind of be a bit more precise with the throttle when you use the cursor, and it still says the same. So now I'm doing 25, so if I can try and keep it at that speed. Yeah, so like I say, you don't tend to have to think as quick, but nevertheless, you are driving an older locomotive with coaching stock, which has a very different braking system to what the other trains are on the other routes. So you do have to be careful still. But so yeah, this bit here, you're climbing up, and you do have to try and find the right sweet spot with your throttle, and you will be messing around a little bit, putting it up and down. But if you kind of leave it between digital notch 6 and digital notch 7, you'll climb up here quite nicely. With the gradients getting a bit tougher now, it's 1.2%. It just got to 1.3 at one point. But yeah, that's chugging away nicely. So yeah, to go back to the route, it's a very picturesque route. It's quite boring in some ways. A lot of trees, a lot of hills, a lot of grass, etc., etc. Not like the more distracted routes on the Great Western, for instance, where you're going in a London city, lots of overheads, lots of lines, lots of other trains. This is a lot less distracting. It is pretty. It's a pretty route anyway. There's a lot of hills, there's a lot of drops, so you're doing a lot more driving. You are thinking a lot more. There's obviously like I said, the varying speeds. Dealing with powerful locomotives, trying to keep them at speeds like 25 miles an hour does take some work, does take a lot of concentration. That's what I like about this route. The other engine you can have is the Class 9 Super Grand, because I like to call it. That is not as powerful engine as the Class 47. I admit I've not actually driven it on a route. I've done the tutorial and it was fun, so I can't comment how that's like when it's out on the passenger train. We do actually see one at Crowcombe in a minute. But I would imagine that's quite a bit of a treat to drive as well, because that'll be considerably different to the Class 47, because it would be nowhere near as powerful. So it would probably be I don't know, you might be able to just whack it open and leave it. It'll just go at 25. I'm not sure. I'll let you know and I'll record it. So yeah, what's that now? We're just about just over a mile and a bit away from Crowcombe, but we're still climbing quite a big descent. We're on digital not 7, 25 mile an hour. As we keep going, the engine chugging away there, and yeah, like I say, it's a pretty route. I've chose autumn. Oh yes, we get a second man, or second woman in this case, which is nice. However, I will say, if you do see their second man standing up with their feet standing up through the seat, there's a bug happening, and I've actually had it a few times. I'm not the only user to have this. On the PS4, I had it crash on me relentlessly while I was travelling from Minehead to Bishop's Lydeard. It just kept crashing on me at different points, at different times, under different circumstances. However, there has been an update on my PS4 Pro recently, well today actually, and ever since I've played it, it seems to be behaving, so fingers crossed it continues to behave while we carry on with this. Even though we're 0.7 miles away from the 20, I'm still happy to keep it open. Let's have a look at the outside. Oh, so as you can see, for some reason it's, yeah, look, now see, that's another bug. It seems to think that's the front of the train. That may be like what happened earlier when I was in the front cab, or the number 1 cab. So that's a bit of a bug that's happened on this particular journey. Whether that happens on any other services coming out of Bishop's Lydeard, I don't know. So what's the front camera going to do? Oh, rear camera is now on the engine, which technically is the front. So that's a little bug, obviously with the service mode, that obviously needs fixing. Where I can just press triangle, you can come out of drive mode, go into camera mode, just have a good view there. I'd like to have done the passing mode in free mode, but obviously it won't work because it keeps going to the back of the train. Right, then I get back in the cab. Oh, also you can hang out the window, or for some bizarre reason you have to choose the right outside option to do the left hand side window. No idea. Just approaching Crowcombe, there's a as you can probably hear, the AWS has just gone off there. Cancel that, you can circle or press the button on the desk if you're in the cab. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this signal is supposed to be clear or off. It's a cautionary signal anyway to warn you what the next signal will be, the next home signal will be. Now that says that, to me, if it's across like that, should be that the next signal should be a danger, but for some reason it's not. It's off, and it says on the indicator it's off, and it's as you can see, it is off as it comes around the corner. I've dropped the power down a little bit because we're obviously climbing up, and we're going to be slowing down for the PSR. I'm going to go to the drivers now to concentrate a little bit for the 20, and that's worked perfectly. Look, as you can see, I'm doing 21 as I've dropped the power down a little bit. There's my proceed signal, so it was always off. I don't know why, you know, I don't know what the position. I don't know, maybe it's an error. Now, as you approach Crowcombe, you always seem to approach on a signal at the end of the platform being at danger, which makes it a little bit more, gives you a bit more pressure on stopping, because oh, there's a super gronk. Look, that's the reason why it's at danger. So I'm just going to put my initial. I'll put my initial on just to get a bit of air vacuum into the system. I'm going to put a bit more brake on now as I'm going a bit quick. But I don't want to go but you put too much in before you know it, you come to a stand. It's really weird, the braking. You have to be really clever. You level out as well here, so that gives you a misconception, because obviously you're used to climbing the hill, and all of a sudden you get here, it's nice and level. The train behaves differently all of a sudden. So obviously my power's off. I'm rolling. I'm slowing down quite considerably now, but now I've overcut the brakes a little bit, so I'll put too much vacuum in the system. I'm braking too much now, but you got to be. I'm doing that as a precaution because I'm approaching a danger signal. If I wasn't approaching a danger signal, I might be a bit more cocky and probably go a little bit towards the end of the platform. And some of the other stations I do overhang slightly to make sure the train fits. So there we go. Just approaching that. Put a bit of brake in now. Full service, and I'll come to a stand. Hold the left button to. Oh, the signal's come off. Just to unlock the left doors. So we'll let the doors unlock. So here we are at Crowcombe. I'm going to put my brake down to initial. I always put my brake down to initial application, so there's still some vacuum in the system to get the brakes on, but then also it means when I do get the nod to go, I can just drop the brake vacuum straight out and off I go without much delay. So yeah, there you go. That was my little tutorial of how to the best adapt your driving style on when you're coming out of Bishop's Lydeard up to Crowcombe. Also showing you a couple of bugs that I've noticed on this particular service, 2:15. I've not actually looked at any other service yet, but there's a good chance it may happen on others. I think it's because that engine would have run round the train off an earlier service, and it continues on from service to service. So I think that's probably why you get that. I could be wrong. So yeah, so thanks for watching. I really do hope that if you haven't got this already, and I hope this has given you a bit of an insight of what it's like. I'm going to make a few more videos anyway, so watch out for them, get them done. Right, my passengers are all loaded, so let's lock my doors, hold down the left button, tick to right, lock left, and then what have we got now? Yep, and next stop, I'm only a minute, remember I'm only a bit late, yeah, there you go, Stargumber for 14:36. I was a few minutes late because obviously showing you earlier how to do it, but I think I did well with the time. Thanks for watching.